Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope that you all will be fine. Now the topic of discussion is the general anatomy of the skeletal system. It is one of the most important topics which we have to study in our foundation of medical sciences. So by the end of this presentation, we will be able to describe the skeletal system. We can define a bone. We can discuss the brief histology of bones. We can also then discuss the types of bones. We can also explain the overview of development of bones. We can then describe and elucidate the different parts of an adult and a young long bone. We can then discuss the neurovasculature of a bone, and at the end we can describe the basic concepts of cartilages. So in our living body there are many systems. Some systems are for the pumping of blood, that is the cardiovascular system, and the hematologic system, and some systems are for the digestion, the digestive system, and some system are for of the excretion, the excretory and the urinary system. There is a system for support as well in our body, which is the skeletal system. Okay, it is that system of the living body which functions for primary support. The main support to our body is provided by the skeletal system. Okay, in human beings, in chordates, in mammals, the skeletal system is made up of bones and cartilages. Okay, in kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, as we can recall our previous concepts, the supporting system of a body, the skeletal system, is made up of bones and cartilages. Okay, in the human skeleton is made up of 206 bones. Here the skeleton, it is made up of 206 bones. Okay, so that there are two main divisions of the skeleton: the axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Okay, the axial skeleton comprises of 80 bones. These are the skull, the vertebrae, the vertebral column, and the sacrum and coccyx, the ribs, and the sternum. Okay, then there is the appendicular skeleton, which is making 126 bones: the pectoral girdle made by the clavicle and scapula, the upper limb bones, the humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges, the lower limb bones, the pelvic girdle first, the hip bone, and then the lower limb bones, the femur, the tibia and fibula, the tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. Okay, so 126 plus 80 becomes 206. Now, general anatomy of bones. What is a bone? It is a very favorite question of the examiner in the Viva, that what is a bone. Okay, now the bone is the specialized, rigid and hard connective tissue for supporting the entire body. What is a bone? It is a specialized, rigid and hard connective tissue for the support of the entire human body. Okay, it is a specialized connective tissue. Now here the word specialized means that it will have some characteristics which are not present in some other connective tissues. Remember, our body has three specialized connective tissues. These are the bone, the cartilage and the blood. Okay, and the bone is one of the specialized connective tissues. The main functions of bones are that it is the chief supporting structure of the body, as we have discussed. Bone is also the locomotive machinery, because when bone moves, our body moves. We are very locomote with the help of our bones in the joints and with the help of muscles. The bone also functions to protect the internal organs and cavities. The pleural cavity, it is protected by the ribs. The perineum, the genitalia, is protected by the hip bone. Okay? The bone is also producer of blood cells. Bone is also the storer of ions, mainly calcium and phosphate. More than 90% of our body's calcium is present in the bones. Okay? Now, discussing the brief histology of bone. Bone is covered by the dense connective tissue. Okay, bone is a living tissue and it is also covered by a dense connective tissue which is called the periosteum. Peri means on, osteum means bone in Latin. Okay, periosteum. Now, periosteum is an outer fibrous layer and an inner cellular layer. ठीक है, पेरियोस्टियम होगी कवरिंग बोन की, उसके एक आउटर लेयर होगी, फाइब्रस लेयर होगी और इनर लेयर होगी, सेलुलर लेयर होगी. ठीक है. So bone खुद एक connective tissue है, जैसा कि हमने बोला. The bone being a connective tissue itself is comprised of two main components. These are the cells and the extracellular matrix. ठीक है. First we will discuss the extracellular matrix. it is inorganic as well as organic. The organic matrix is 35%. It is made up of fibers and the ground substance as present in all connective tissues. The fibers in the bone are the collagen type 1. The most abundant protein in the bone is collagen type 1. Okay? And the ground substance, same, it is made up of the glycosaminoglycans, which are chondroitin sulfate and keratin sulfate in bones mainly. These glycosaminoglycans associated with proteins to form proteoglycans, and some proteins are also present, the glycoproteins, which are osteonectin, osteopontin, osteocalcin, etc. Okay? The inorganic matrix is making the 65% of the bone extracellular material. It is mainly in the form of calcium hydroxyapatite. Okay? It is a calcium salt, the main calcium salt within the body. It is a calcium hydroxyapatite. Okay? Other salts are also present in the bone, which is calcium carbonate, etc. And there are sodium ions as well as magnesium ions also present in the bone. Okay? Now the bone cells, there are basically 4 types of cell in the bone: the osteogenic cell, the osteoblasts, the osteocytes, and the osteoclasts. The osteogenic cells or the osteoprogenitor cells are the stem cells. What are stem cells? Stem cells are those types of cells which can divide mitotically and produce their own progeny as well as some specialized other cells. ठीक है, वो माइटोसिस से डिवाइड होंगे, एक सेल जो डिवीजन के बाद बनेगा वो वापस से स्टेम सेल बन जाएगा, दूसरा सेल स्पेशलाइज्ड सेल बन जाएगा जो स्पेसिफिक फंक्शन देगा. ठीक है, जो दो ऑस्टियोजेनिक सेल और ऑस्टियोप्रोजेनिटर सेल डेवलप इनटू ऑस्टियोब्लास्ट्स. ठीक है. Now what is osteoblast? सब पूछते हैं osteoblast क्या होता है, तो osteoblast is nothing but a modified fibroblast. ठीक है, कनेक्टिव टिश्यू में फाइब्रोब्लास्ट होता है ना, तो osteoblast is a modified fibroblast. So what is the function of the fibroblast? It secretes the ECM. ठीक है, so osteoblast will also secrete the ECM. What is the ECM? The collagen, the gags, the proteoglycans. ठीक है, and then there will be the calcification. ठीक है, so when the osteoblast is secreted the bone matrix, the organic matrix, the organic matrix of the bone is also called the osteoid. Okay, I write it so that you can remember. The organic matrix is formed, which is formed is the osteoid. O S T E O I D, E O I D. Okay, the organic matrix formed is the osteoid. And when the osteoid is calcified, okay, and then the osteoblast is trapped within the matrix, so it is now called osteocytes, and where it is present, that space is called the lacuna. Okay, so these are the 3 main cells of the bone. The 4th main cell is the osteoclast. It is not mainly the permanent cell of the bone, it is the resident cell. Okay, how is it resident? Because it is the macrophage of the bone. It is the monocyte derived bone eating cell. It literally eats the bone. Many monocytes come together and form an osteoclast, and this osteoclast eats the bone. And the place of osteocyte was the lacuna, and the place of osteoclast is the resorption bay. Resorption bay or house-shaped lacuna. Okay? Previously it was called house-shaped lacuna, but now it is called resorption bay. Okay? It eats the bone because of the remodeling functions of the bone.